speaking of corporations, the last two stories are going to revolve very heavily around two different kinds of corporations, let's say, or businesses. This one might be focused more on third-party sales because, let's read the story, third-party games have reportedly struggled to sell on Nintendo Switch 2 at launch, with one publisher claiming that his game has sold, quote, below our lowest expectations.
Oh, no.
Or estimates, sorry.
Dear. Okay. Oh, that's sad to hear.
So,
oh, dear.
While the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware has enjoyed record-breaking launch sales, some third-party publishers have reportedly found that the console's success hasn't translated to the thriving third-party market yet.
Well,
in a report from the game business, it claimed that other than CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, most third-party games have struggled to sell on the Switch 2.
That's ironic and crazy.
No, there's actually a very, very, very easy, identifiable reason why this is the case, but we'll get to that in a bit. So,
I'm curious.
Most third-party games, third-party Switch 2 games, posted very low numbers. Quote.
Right, okay.
One third-party publisher characterised the numbers as below our lowest estimates, despite strong hardware sales. According to the report, 62% of Switch 2 physical game sales in the US during the console's launch week came from first-party titles. This excludes the Mario Kart World Bundle, which accounted for the vast majority of console sales in the region. That's because it was a digital code. So,
right.
According to the Circana data, the three best-selling physical games in the US during the Switch 2's launch week were Mario Kart World, Cyberpunk 2077, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition.
Right.
Don't read that comment. Don't read those comments because they're going to come up in a bit. Don't read them out loud. Don't read them out loud.
Okay.
So, Nielsen IQ data shows that in the UK, 86% of Switch 2 physical games sold in the UK during launch week were first-party games. If the Mario Kart World Bundle is included, if it's excluded, that figure is 48%. Cyberpunk 2077 was the best third-party selling game in the UK during the system's launch week. There are numerous potential reasons for the relatively slow start for third-party games on Switch 2. The high attach rate for Mario Kart World implies that a lot of players are happy enough to play that for now and explore the rest of the lineup once they're done with Mario Kart. I highly disagree.
Right.
Switch 2's backwards compatibility also means that players have a number of games that they can play at launch, most notably the 12 first-party Switch games that have been given free updates improving them on Switch 2. I also probably disagree with that too.
Right.
The lack of media reviews for third-party Switch 2 games and the resistance by some players to accept the game keycard format could also have contributed towards low third-party launch sales.
That's what Mike said.
That's why I was getting to it.
Yes.
The majority of third-party Switch 2 launch titles were also ports of games that had been released earlier on other consoles. Also what Mike said.
Yes.
Meaning it's likely that players who wanted those games had already found a way to buy them by now. It remains to be seen then how third-party games will fare on Switch 2 once the launch window is behind it, particularly when it comes to multi-format games that release on Switch 2 on the same day as other systems. The first notable example of that being Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 that comes out in a few weeks.
Right.
Because that is a simultaneous launch since the Switch 2 came out.
Right.
So in general terms, launch lineup aside, third-party titles have often struggled to find huge success on Nintendo platforms in recent years. This is due to several factors, including the fact that many core players will own other, often more powerful hardware, as well as a Nintendo console. Despite the third-party sales issues, Nintendo is often an extremely strong start. So it's enjoyed the biggest launch ever for a video game console. So just to put that into perspective, for the success story for Switch 2, In Japan, it enjoyed a huge launch. Famitsu sales data shows that Switch 2 sold 947,000 consoles in the first 4 days.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane.
And so far have reported that around 3.5 million Switch units have were sold globally in the first 4 days on sale.
Wow.
But yet, the old third-party games are not doing too well.
Yeah. That's still wild.
Not really. Not really at all. And I'm going to say something that is going to absolutely ruin the hell. Well, it might annoy Mike here.
I know what you're going to say.
A lot of this is Nintendo's problem. Why is that? Because they chose to allow developers, or not allow developers, they forced developers to either pay more for a 64GB cartridge or take a game keycard option, which is absolutely freaking ridiculous. So, for sake, I bought Street Fighter 6 physically.
Right.
Physically. It's a game keycard. Look, I will show you. I'm just going to show it to you, right? So,
it's crazy to me.
Let me just close my game down. No, just bear with me. Right? Because I want to show. I want to show this because this is absolutely stupid. So.
And for our listeners, they can come see this at www.twitch.tv/rapid-reviews.
So,
you can see it for yourself.
So, here it is.
Oh wow! Okay.
Here's the cartridge for Street Fighter 6.
Yes, it's adorable. It looks like all of the Switch cartridge.
And it's the Switch 2. It's the red one, right?
Yeah.
So it just looks like.
Can you lick it?
Oh, it still tastes disgusting. Jesus. Ugh.
See what you're missing, folks? You gotta come over to twitch.tv/rapid-reviews and see Pete lick a cartridge.
So, despite the fact that actually none of the data is actually stored on that cartridge, apart from basically an unlock code, right? You'll notice it still has the icon. So I've got to get it in the right spot. Can you still see it says that has that icon at the top?
It's blurry, but I can. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah, the little cartridge icon next to Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Right?
Yep.
So it shows that no cartridge is actually inserted. So I try and play it, and it still says insert the game card.
The game card.
Right? So no data is on that. It actually had to download when I got it, but now if I insert the game card, it's now able to run.
Oh, that is wild.
That's actually stupid. I don't like that at all. Like,
that's crazy.
It should yeah, okay, a game like Street Fighter 6 has probably more data on it than something like Yakuza 0 or Sonic Cross Shadows Generations. But there are certain games out there, and I can't remember what the name of the game was. There was a game that came out not too long ago that came out as a Switch 2 version, but it came out on a full 64GB card and had both the Switch 1 and Switch 2 versions of the game on the card itself. So that Switch 2 cartridge can be played on a Switch 1 and had both versions available. So why more developers aren't able to do that, I don't know.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of it is down to the fact that Nintendo have completely priced them out for the sake of we want these game key cards.
Right. Well, Mike says, let me just say, I have bought Cyberpunk, Street Fighter, and Hitman. Yes. I did my part to support third-party developers. The selling point is that you can give it to a friend, and they can download the game to their system. I'm still a bit confused about that. That's because I don't have one.
But whilst you can't at the same time, because even if you were to buy the game key card,
right,
you still technically can't give it to them, because you'd still need the physical version unless he means you're talking about transferring it to a virtual game card, which is their new system that they use, which I still don't know how that would work if you have that system.
Right, okay. So if a friend
Oh, which is he's just clarified. He says which you can't do with a digital game unless you use the game lending.
Okay, so if your friend then puts your game card into their Switch 2, they get to use the game?
They would, but you wouldn't be able to play it with them. So he said that you would still have to use the physical cartridge.
Which is different. Okay,
which is
I got you
still
now.
pointless then.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're going to create a digital
games.
version of the game, then you're not going to be able to lend it to them because they still need the cartridge. So with the game keycard system. So it's dumb, and you might as well just go and buy the game digitally then, which means that Nintendo get more of the profit share. Yes, okay, they would still have to do the 30% probably to the publisher, but well, they would have to. Well, they'd still get their 30% out of it. Is what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah.
But then in this respect, like, developers or publishers then have to pay upfront for the game keycard, so they're already hedging that on the cost of itself. Yeah, it's a confusing situation, and I think it's not really helped at all. Because, well, I also found out that Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is actually an actual exclusive. That Director's Cut is not available on any other platform at the moment.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is annoying because I would love to go back and play Yakuza 0 with that Director's Cut version, which is why I was holding off playing any more of it. But I'm not going to go and pay for it on the Switch 2 if I'm going to get a game keycard. And I already own the game physically, like, on PlayStation, and already own digitally on Switch. Or not Switch, on Steam, sorry. I'm not buying them again.
Right.
So, yeah, it's stupid, honestly. Absolutely ridiculous. So, Nana says apparently the game keycard was made because publishers didn't want to make physical versions. Like they said this at an investors meeting. They just said, I just reread publishers didn't want to make physical versions, but why release a physical version then?
We're in such strange times.
Yeah, I think this is Nintendo's way of sort of pushing people more towards the digital storefront, which I don't think is working.
I know, you hate it.
It's not working. It clearly isn't working. But,
not in the way they're doing it, no.
Nope. But I think this I think this might be tactical. If they go, oh look, we released these physical versions and nobody bought them. Oh, we better move everything to digital. Oh no. Yeah, I think this is on purpose.
I mean, yeah, I do.
Starting to really fall out of love with Nintendo nowadays because of stuff like this.
Wow.
Anyway, I won't go into that whole rant I had last week about Nintendo being basically Disney.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that if you want to.
I was going to say, go check out last week.